Hey guys, it's Erica. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my August reading wrap-up. Cannot believe August is over. It was a good reading month. I read 7 books, DNF'd 1, and I'm excited to talk about them. So, without further ado, let's get started. So I'm gonna start with my DNF, and I really wanted to love this book. And that is The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise. I said in my book haul, I said Coyote Sunset, I think. So that's definitely not it. This book, it's okay. First of all, it's so cute and I wanted to love it. And the story was really sweet and good. And I got, I don't know, maybe a little over halfway, but there was some language that was questionable, or like the language they were using, I just was not a fan. And it says for ages 9 to 12. And I thought they were putting words in there that I was like, I don't know if a 9 to 12-year-old should be reading this. Whatever. But then it came to a part in the book where I was just like, you know what, I can't justify reading this anymore. And it had to do with a gay person. And I got to that part and I said no more. Unfortunately, it was very sweet, very cute. I even like highlighted a few things because it had some sweet moments, but I will be getting rid of this one, unfortunately, because it's literally the cutest thing ever. But so it goes. Okay, and then the first book that I finished in August was Word of Honor by Terry Blackstock. This is the 3rd book in the New Point 911 series, I believe. And yes, this one was a very good book. I love how each book in the series is like the same characters, but you follow different of the characters. And I'm just starting to think I really don't want to live in this town because bad things keep happening. But this one was really interesting. You actually get to meet the, so basically maybe I should explain this first. In the town of New Point, there was a bombing at the post office and they're trying to figure out who did it. And there's like stuff connected, but you also get to meet the bomber and you're in his head. And basically he fought in a war, and I can't even remember right now what war it was, but he came back and basically he had gone insane and he had been at a mental hospital or something of the sort, but he thought it was prison. And basically his mind was so messed up from him being hurt in the war that he started believing things about the government and about the place he was staying. Like, thought it's a lot to process, but it was so interesting to see his thought process in this. And like, he wasn't just a cold-blooded killer like some of her other books. He genuinely had something wrong in his brain to make him do that, and he thought he was doing the right thing. And the ending is really good. And like, I'm telling you, Terry Blackstock Terry Blackstock gets you with those endings that your heart starts racing. So gave it 5 stars. Highly recommend. Love these. Okay, then I read The Best We Could Do by I don't know how to say the name, so you can look that up if you're interested. But this is, oh man, this is a graphic novel. And it was like my first real graphic novel, I think. And so I'm not sure how I feel about them. I think I like it. I read this in a day, which I wish I wouldn't have, because I think I didn't let the story sink in as much. I was just like reading so fast, and then I wasn't letting what I was reading process with the pictures and everything. But it's the story of a woman from Vietnam and her family's migration, basically. And some really hard stuff happens in here. And some of it is actually kind of confusing, but there's some sweet moments and some moments where you're reminded of how bad some people actually have it, and that the bad things you hear that happen in families is actually true in some cases. And so I would recommend this. There are some kind of graphic things throughout the book, mostly in like the first chapter or so. So content warning, be careful of that before you let your kids just look through it. So yes, it's a great story. I think I gave it 4 stars. Looking back, I would give it 3.5, but it was okay. But it smells so good. Oh, it's just, wow. I love books. Okay, next. Another favorite. And are we surprised because of last month's favorite? No, we're not. The Nature of Small Birds by Susie Finkbeiner. New favorite author, people. Her writing is my favorite. The way she describes her characters, the way she sets the atmosphere and the mood, she can make you feel the small town vibes. Like the small town feel in her books, the 2 books that I've read are absolutely amazing. So yeah, first of all, before the story, like the atmosphere of the book and the writing and everything is just my favorite. And then the story as well, they're so full of real love, real pain, all of it, and it's just so good. So this is about, the main character's name is Mindy, and it follows 3 POVs. It's the mother in 1975, the father in 2013, and then the sister in 1988. So there's a lot of jumping back and forth. So sometimes I didn't like that, but actually I ended up liking it because you get to see different parts of these characters' lives. And basically Mindy is adopted from Vietnam, from the baby lift, something like that. And it shows parts of her coming into their family and adjusting to that, and then during like a few of her teenage years, and then when she's an adult and wants to actually like look for her mother. And it's just sad, and it's beautiful, and it's just love the characters and everything. And one of some of my favorite parts of her books is when you get to the part where you suddenly realize you get the title name and how that all comes into play, and it's just my favorite part. And also, I think in every one of her books, her characters like books, so that's always a plus. Do I even need to mention I gave this 5 stars? I don't think so. You already know. The next book I read is The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley, I think is how you say her name. Wow, I was just reading all the books with like the hard-hitting stuff this month. This is set during World War II, and Ada, the main character, lives in London with her mom and her little brother, and her mom is terrible. Basically treats her horribly, sometimes even to the point of almost torture. And the reason she does is because Ada has a club foot, and her mom thinks that she's worthless because of that. And basically her mother is going to send her little brother away to stay with someone else in case of London being bombed. Well, Ada decides to go with him, and so she runs away with him, and they stay at the woman's house. And I love how she wrote the woman she stayed with, Susan Smith. It was very, I just really liked how Susan wasn't perfect. And it showed it felt like it could be a real story in some ways. And it just showed their struggles and, hardships, and it's just sad, and the ending is like, oh man. So yeah, I recommend this. It says for ages 9 up. I don't know if I'd give it to my 9-year-old. I would definitely, if you're a parent or an older sibling or someone who recommends books for younger kids, I would definitely read it first and see if this is something you want them to read. I would give it maybe to more like a 13-year-old possibly. But I really loved it, and I think I would give it 4.5 stars. So I hope to get the second book in the series as well. So, and then for the Read Your, did you hear my fingers crack? For the Read Your Bookshelf challenge, I read The Moving Finger by Agatha Christie. The prompt was a body part in the title, and so I chose this one. I read it as an ebook, and I really enjoyed it. I thought that, you know, it's an Agatha Christie. Like, there are some authors, the only way you can explain it is to say it's Agatha Christie. I'm very good at explaining books. But basically the storyline is the main character gets hurt. Him and his sister move to a new town, and they think the doctor makes them move there because he thinks this town is quiet, he'll be able to rest, get better. And then they start receiving anonymous letters that say some lies that you just don't want said about yourself. And different people in the town start getting them, and then they start investigating, and it's just trying to figure out who did this. And it's a Miss Marple, and Miss Marple doesn't come in until like the very end. If you don't know who Miss Marple is, it's like the detective, one of the detectives in the Agatha Christie books. She literally is not in there much at all in this book, but the parts that we got of her, I just loved her so much. And yeah, I definitely didn't see the ending. When the ending was happening, I was like, oh no, it's this person, and then it was actually this person. And the thing about Agatha Christie is she makes you suspect everybody at some point, and so the person who did it, I had suspected that person, but then I like threw that. I was like, no, it's not that person. Am I making sense? But yes, I enjoyed it, gave it 4 stars. And yeah, I'm just glad I have another one, none of those. I reread Anne of Green Gables. I don't know what it was, but I was just in the mood for this book again, and I'm so glad I reread it because it's just as good every time. And I love this book, and I love Anne. I just love everything, and I don't know when I'll pick up the next book. I think I'm going to definitely just, when I'm in the mood, pick the next book up. Who knows? Let's just bring back all the feels from last year. It has been almost a year since I started the series. Whoa, what a year. Anyways, yes. Always and forever recommending Anne of Green Gables. 5 stars again. Okay, then last night, or yesterday afternoon, I was like, I do this, and I go sit over there. So I do this thing where I go over there, and my TBR, physical TBR, is like on the bottom shelf of that nightstand. So I go over there when I need a new book, and I stare at it, and I just think, what do I want to read next? And today is September 1st, so I was trying to figure out what I want to read to start off September, But I finished Anne of Green Gables yesterday afternoon, and I was also like, I just kind of want to start another book. So I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I was like, you know what? I bet I could finish this tonight. I bet I could read this whole book tonight. And that's exactly what I did last night. Yesterday afternoon, last night, I read this entire book. Now, by the way, I didn't even say it, A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. The book is just like 159 pages. It looks bigger because it has part of his other book back here. Like, you can read a chapter or two to see if you want. Yes, anyways. But I read the whole book last night. I've watched the movie, loved the movie, cried, beautiful movie. And so I was like, I wonder how it's going to compare to the book. Because usually the book is better, sometimes, not always. But, so I started reading and I was like, wait, this is definitely different than the movie. And at first I didn't like it as much. I was like, I just don't know. Because I was seeing the movie happening in my head and the characters. And even the main character in the movie, who Mandy Moore plays the main character, Jamie, in the movie, loved her character so much. But Mandy Moore has like brown hair, I think. And the main girl in this book was supposed to have blonde hair. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna, it's Mandy Moore. She's gonna have brown hair. So there were definitely things that were different, but it was just, the story line is basically the same. There were definitely scenes they changed in the movie to make more sense, because if they would have done it just like the book, a lot of it might have not flowed together well and made sense, so they added stuff, which is normal, fine, especially since it's such a short book. But the main plot line was the same, and oh man, I cried. Yeah, I definitely cried. It's just so beautiful and sad, and yes, I loved it very much. And this cover is so fall, and yeah. But it was so fun reading the quotes that I remembered from the movie, and I was like, yes, I remember this. So I love that. I gave it 4.5 stars. So yes, I'm glad I just snuck this one in there last night, because that was fun. So here's my stack of books for August. I had so much fun reading this month, and I'm literally so excited for September, October, November, December. Just the mood that those months give for reading is the best. So yes, I just love books. They're so pretty. Oh, now I have to find a place to keep the books. I'm running out of room, guys. It's bad. I had these, like, every time when I'd get done reading them throughout the month, I would just stack them on top of each other. And now I have to actually put them away. So, look, oh, the amount of times I've sniffed this book. Is insane. It just smells so good. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm looking forward to making my September wrap up and hopefully filming a little, maybe I'll film another video. I don't know yet what it'll be, but thanks for watching. Click the thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time.